Hey, third graders, we're going to talk about lines and how. What kinds of lines do you know? So, as we know, a line is something that connects from one point to another point. It's also the path made by a moving point, like the point of your pencil. Lines can be thick or thin, they can be long or short. The lines can be vertical or horizontal or diagonal. They can be solid or dotted or dashed. Lines can be curved or straight or any combination of both. And there's an endless variety in what we think of a line. In this room, we often talk about the 12 famous lines, curved, wavy, loopy, spiral, and so on. Now, did you know that even though you can create any line you want, lines can remind us of emotions? So, what does the word emotion mean? What kinds of emotions do we experience on a day-to-day basis? Let's look at some lines from art history that artists have used to express their feelings. Did you notice the colors that the artist used? How did that color help express the feeling? How do certain colors make us feel? Like red, what does that make us feel? Or blue, what does that make us feel? Why do you think that? Let's start with a warm up. In your sketchbook, you are going to draw different lines. I'm going to tell you an emotion word, and I want you to design in your sketchbook with only lines, not shapes, so the lines cannot connect. Something that represents that. Like if I say happy, what kind of line would you draw? For our second warm up, I'm going to give you a page full of a few lines. You are going to look at these lines, add to them to make them into certain emotions. I'm going to give you a list of emotions, and I want you to pick one emotion for one line and then add to it. How can I make this line represent this feeling better? You will be able to use coloring tools inside of these little lines for this warm up. For our final project, you can create a line design that means an emotion. You have to kind of get your emotion approved by me. But then you're going to paint a line that represents the emotion you've chosen. We're going to work on this. This will be a project that needs to take at least one whole class. You need to step back from it and think about it. Is this really it? You need to ask your partners, your peers, your friends. What do you think, Bob? Does this look right? Does this really represent sad? Do you think, does this line really look sad to you? Is there anything I can add, more colors, more lines, or paint over because it didn't work? You have to think, is my emotion really starting to come out? Is the feeling really being seen? Am I portraying that feeling in my paper the right way? Now that we're done making our emotional lines, we're going to hang them up or put them around the room. We are all going to look at each other's and we're going to interpret it. You might know whose did that one and what emotion they were going for, but you might not know about this one, so we're going to discuss it. What does this one mean? If you know what it means or it's yours, don't give it away. For the rest of us, we're going to critique it, which means we're going to talk about it, talk about how well does it represent the emotion it was trying to get across, and we're going to just try to guess, what do we think it means? There probably will be some emotions that are the same, so we're going to compare them. This artist represented happy this way, and this artist represented happy this way. Were they both successful? Were there parts that worked better? When we're talking, we need to make sure to be nice and respectful of other people's feelings and their hard work. Did they use the colors that best represented that feeling? Did they use lines? Could they have added anything?